Hello students, in this class we'll see more about QBasic programming. In our last class we learned how to input and output and a bit to process. In this class we'll learn if condition or the conditional statements and few more things. So let me first tell you about conditional statement that conditional statement is extremely important topic if you're learning programming. Another important thing that is very important is looping that we will see in our next class. But in this class, we will focus on conditional. What is conditional statement? Conditional statement means simply if. Means if this is the case, then do this. If this is the case, then do this. If this is the case, if this is greater, if this is smaller. So this kind of situation. If this is input, then do this operation. If that is input, then do this operation. Means it is all about the if, all about the conditions. Now, what is the importance of condition in programming? Let me give you a very simple example. Suppose we went to ATM to withdraw the money from ATM, and if the card is okay, then it will proceed. If you have entered the correct PIN, then it will go further. It will proceed. If you have enough balance, then you can only withdraw the money. Ah, so if you have entered wrong pin, then this operation will happen. If you have entered wrong pin three times, then this will happen. Means you see that in a simple real life operation also, the ATM program is made out of only ifs. A lot of ifs are there. So this way, we can say that if condition is important in every aspect of programming, in every aspect of life also. If condition is almost everywhere. So it's very important to learn how if condition is implemented or these conditional statements are implemented while making programs. We'll begin with a very simple program. Let us consider a program. Just we have to input a number, and if that number is greater than zero, whatever number we have input, if it is greater than zero, then the message will come that this number is positive. And if this is less than zero, if you have input a negative number, if it is less than zero, then it will say it is a negative number. Now, how to do? I will make this such a simple program. Let's first write CLS input, enter any number. This is the message that will appear. To learn more about this input, you can see the last video. Any variable like n1. Now, if here begins the if again is the keyword, and for writing every keyword, there is a specific way, and you have to follow that way very strictly. It means uh, it's not about only if; it's about all the keywords. Like if if you want to write input keyword, then this is the protocol of writing this input. Means first you have to write input, then you have to give a space, and then you have to write a message like this within the double quotation mark, and then you have to give a separator, either comma or a semicolon, and the variable name. If you write it in a different way, then it will not work. So every keyword has to be written in a predefined way, and that way you have to learn the way to write. That's what you are learning. So how these if conditions are written? If n1 is greater than 0, then this is called inline operation. Means everything we are going to write in a one line, inline. Then print number is positive. Okay, now end. This much. Is this enough? Yes, this is enough. It's a very simple program. Let us run it and see the difference. When you run a program, it converts it into scene code and all. It takes some time. Now it's ready to run. It's running. Enter any number. Any number, let us enter, like 785. The number is positive. Okay. Now what? Let us run it back, and this time let us input negative 78 or any number. Then see that you are expecting that it will say that it's positive, negative, and all, but see it hasn't output anything. That has not displayed anything. Let us try to understand this reason. Why? Look what we have given. Enter a number n1. This time we have input minus 78. The value of n1 variable has become minus 78. Now if n1 is greater than 0, the condition is provided ki if n1 is greater than 0, in this case the n1's value is minus 78, which is not greater than 0. So in this case, what is happening? This condition is becoming false because n1 is not greater than 0. No? This condition is written for what? Which case? In case if n is greater than 0. If n1 is greater than 0, then it has to display this particular statement. But what if the number is less than 0? For that, we have not provided any scenario, anything we have not done for it. So computer only does those things which we have instructed. It will do nothing more than that. If we have not instructed computer for any particular situation, it will not react for that. It will not give any output for that. This is the case what happened just now. We have not provided any instruction in case if the number is less than 0. So let us do this also. So we'll have to add one more line. If n1 is less than 0, then what? Then print it's negative. Always remember, dear students, that in this quotation mark, we can write anything. We can write anything. Computer doesn't see whether it is right English or not, spelling is okay or not. It doesn't look at that. For computer, it's just a message and that has to be displayed as it is given. It will never correct you. If you have written anything wrong also, then it will be displayed. Computer is not taking responsibility what message you are printing. So as a programmer, it's your responsibility to write the right messages here. I'll show you what I'm trying to say. Now press F5. So this time we have both the cases given. Huh? So let us first execute with the right case. I mean, any number like positive number. So this number is positive. Okay. So now let us run it back and then see. This time let us provide any negative number, minus 47. It's negative. Why and how it is working? It's very important to understand the way it is working. First, look, one more thing you always keep in your mind. The instructions are followed line by line unless and until it is redirected in a using any jump statement and all. It goes in sequence. So first the line number 1 will be executed, then this line, second line will be executed, then third, then fourth, and this. This is how the operation of flows, the execution flows. So in the second case, when we entered minus 47, you can see it here, minus 40. What had happened? Look at the line numbers. The value of n1 became minus 47, and then if n1 is greater than 0, if n1 will be greater than 0, then this operation has to take place. Only then. But if n1 is less than 0, then this operation has to take place. So this statement became false as n1 is not greater than 0. Whereas this statement is becoming true. Why? Because in this case, when we entered minus 47, n1 is less than 0, and so this became true, and this is how uh, this message is being displayed there. So it's quite easy. So now we'll see some more event. This is what this is simple if then. Okay, this is example of simple if then. Now we'll see if then else. Okay, now what is this? Let us understand with example. Let us transform this program in this structure. So if n1 is greater than 0, then print what? Positive. Else means otherwise. For positive, I mean, if in case this is going to be true, means if n1 is will be greater than 0, if it will be true, then it will do this work. And in case that will be false, then what? Then also we can give like this. negative number, or anything that you want, you can write. Okay, and this statement has got not any problem, so it is properly interpreted. No error message coming, no red lines are there. Press F5 to run it. So now enter any positive number like 96, it will say positive. Fine. Now run it back. Enter any negative number this time, like minus 12 or any number. It is operating this particular line. Yeah. So now you have understood this if condition. If you have not understood, you can repeatedly watch it. You can repeatedly practice it in order to understand with the different scenes, different data, different scenarios. Let me once again make the point clear. And the very important thing is the way it must be written. If we make any change in the protocol, it may not work. First, we have to write if, then we have to write the condition using the relational operator. Relational, this is called relational, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to. These all are relational operators which find the relation between two given data, whether it is small or large or equal. So one expression is relational expression is written whose output will be either true or false. Relational expression generate output in terms of true and false. The given expression will be either true or false, no in between. So either n1 will be greater than 0 or will be not greater than 0. Maybe equal to, maybe less, but not. Two things are there, either true or false. In case this is true, in case this given statement is true, then the statement after then is executed. Like I have written print positive. So print operation will take place and positive this statement. In case this is false, then the statement or the keyword or the instruction after else will be executed. And this is how this inline if then else works. So you can practice it with the different scenes and data. So we'll see few more varieties of if condition. Now we'll learn if and if. Now what is this? So in previous two examples, what we saw that if we have to do very simple works like displaying one message or doing simple operation, then we can do it. If only one operation has to be done. In case if we have to execute multiple statements, in case of if some condition is getting true or false, multiple statements, if you want multiple statements to execute, in that case we do not write in line. I mean, everything is not written in a single line, they are split into multiple lines, and this is how it goes. So in case suppose I'm giving you one scenario, like if I have entered 1, let me make change the program. Enter 1 to add and 2 to find product. Suppose this kind of program I want to make. Enter 1 to add and 2 to find product. Suppose this is the case. Then what? If n1 is equal to 1, means if I have entered 1, then what operation? Look, when I pressed enter, it became red. I mean, it means that it is instantly interpreted and found some mistake in it. So what is the mistake? Mistake is we are leaving then. So we have to write it. Then you may do like this. Enter first number. See, we are operating over the multiple lines, multiple operations we are doing. This time marks 1. This is the another line. enter second number, maybe variable, maybe m2 or any name you can write, and then print sum of both or any message you can write. Then what? M1 plus M2. Now we have to write here and if. Now see, when we had not written and if there was a red line. It was indicating that there's still something missing. Although then was of course missing, but beside then something else is missing, that is and if. Look at the difference between both the scenes or scenario. Earlier we had to execute only one statement, this is positive, this is negative, like this. But in this case we are executing multiple lines. We are doing input, we can do present, we can do output, we can do anything. So in case when you have to execute multiple lines, in that case inline if condition doesn't work. So you'll have to go for this one, if and end if. Whenever if starts, there must be a end if to end that if condition. This is a rule. Few of you may ask why this end if is there. So this is the rule and you have to strictly follow this. There is no other option. You have to do this. So let us first run this program and then we'll enhance this program to accommodate what we plan for. So let us first see this. Enter 1 to add and 2 to find product. Let us first enter 2. But we have not provided anything for 2. Let us see them. What happens when you will enter 2 or any other number. So let us see with 2. See, nothing has happened. Program terminated, program ended. Why? Because there is nothing instructed in case if it is n1, if n1 is equal to 2. It is only instructed for 1. Let us rerun the program and see. This time let us input 1. And once we'll input 1, then what will happen? This 1 will become the value of n1 and then this will start. So see, if n1 is 1, in this case we have input 1, so the value of n1 is 1. Then what has to be done? Then input enter first number to m1. Whatever marks will enter, whatever number will enter, it will go to the variable m1. Enter second number, anything. This 23 will go to m2 and the sum will be this, and this is working. And then finally program stopped. So this is how if and if works. Okay, so can we have more if? Of course you can have any number of if condition. There is no limitation, there is no practical limitation. You can have any number of if condition. What we can do, we can simply copy paste it to save our time. Go to edit and see what is the shortcut of copy. Control C you can also press, control insert also you can press. So control C is for copy, is a universal shortcut. But in older version of QBasic, control insert is control C doesn't work. But this is new one, so it is working. What we have to do, we just have to make it 2. Then the same variable we can use, of course. Don't worry that m1, m2 is already used here. Can we give the same name? Of course you can give. No problem. And this time what we have to do, we have to find the product as it was planned earlier. Okay, if it will be 1, then sum. Otherwise, if it will be 2, then what? Product. So we just have to change the operator. Operator is this, asterisk is the multiplication operator. And let us run it. Let us input 2. Enter first number 78, second number 41. This is the product of both numbers. Okay. Now in case what will happen if we'll input 3? Because for 1 it is instructed, for 2 in this case 2 it is, but what for 3 or any other number? It is nothing. Nothing has been instructed, so it will do nothing in that case. So how to handle such situations? So we have another kind of if condition to handle such situation. We'll see this next. Now we'll see the another version of if, which is if else if Let me write in caps. And if. Let us see its operation. So when we have more options, more conditions, more different situations to be handled, then this also will work. But this another version is also there. It is very useful. This is called if else if ladder also. Now why it is called ladder, you will understand it later on. But let us see how it works. Look, if, then else if, and then end if. Okay, let us first execute and then let us understand. We'll understand it with the more examples and situations. So first, let us see it is working that way or not. Of course, it will work. Enter two numbers. Sum is there. Okay, fine. Let us run it with the two also and see whether it is working or not. Yes, it is working. Then let us work with the three or any other number. No, it's still not in that scene to do anything for such numbers. So how can we do this? Else is needed here. One more thing is there. How? Let us see. Else print wrong operation selected. You can write any message, and after that, end if. Now see what will happen. Uh, for the beginners, it may be a little complicated, but programming can be only understood with the practice. If you'll practice, you will learn. If you'll not practice, nobody can teach you. This is a simple formula for learning programming. Programming can be only learned by making programs by yourself, by doing practices and doing experiments. And if you'll not do this, nobody can teach you programming. So, one. Okay, working with that. Let us try it with another set. Two. Again, it's working. Let us run it and try any other number, three or any other number. Then it will say wrong operation selected. Now this program is fully designed for all kind of inputs. Let us see it again. For any number you will enter, like 78 also, it will say wrong operation. Now let us try to understand how it is working. So once program starts running, then executing, then it starts from this CLS, then it asks this 120 and all. So whatever number you input, like we have input 78, then this becomes the value of variable n1 here, n1. Then what? If n1 is equal to 1, so see, n1 is 78. Is that equal to 1? No. Means this whole thing became false. And this if goes from here till here. So this nothing will work. It will test for the another condition. If n1 is equal to 2, then do this. So n1 is 78 in this case. It is not equal to 2. So in this case also this became false. Else means all other cases. In case if this is also become false, this also became false, then this thing will happen. And now this thing is happening. Wrong operation. Now we can modify this program for more operations like what, let me tell you what I'm trying to say. Just copy this code, select it and copy it and paste it. Else if n1 is equal to 3. Okay, for 3, let us do division work. Can we do subtraction also? Yes, let us do it. Paste it. Code once copied remains in the clipboard, which you can paste anytime until you are copying any other thing. It remains there. So case 4, let us do difference. What we are doing, we are copying, pasting, we are saving our time and we are making a good program. So in all other cases, wrong operation selected. Let us run it. For 1, we have seen. For 2, we have seen. Let us see 3. Enter first number 6, then 5. Division. Oh, sorry. Yes, this also let you learn something. Here we have made change, no? But the operation we have not changed by mistake. Or, so we have to do this also. Division operation, you have to say here subtraction operation. Now you can understand with this mistake that computer only does what you are instructing. It does not correct you. Okay. So as a programmer, you have to see everything. That's why programs are tested. And during testing, whatever loopholes are there, they are found. 8 divided by 5. Division is 1.6. Fine, it's working. Let us run it back and see for 4 what is happening. 7 and 3, difference is 5. All are working. That's great. And in any other case, let's input any other number. The wrong operation selected. But you may say that, sir, enter 1 to add and 2 to find product is written. It's not written about 3 and 4. How the user will come to know that for division we have to input this code and all. So you, as a programmer, as I said, it's your duty. So you can modify it like this. Enter 1 to add 2 for product, or you can do like this also. Let me show you the different ways of output. 3 for division, 4 for difference. Now everything is there. Now run it and see the difference. Now 1 to add, 2 for product, 3 for division, 4 for difference. Now whatever operation you want to do, I want to do division work. Then press 3. Now it's asking the number. So this is the result. 89 divided by 6 produces 14.8333, whatever. So I hope this concept is clear to you and you're getting the points. So dear students, please practice it. Some thing you may find over the internet, you may find in the books, different problems. Try to solve them all. So enough for this class. We'll see some more topics in our next class. See you. Thank you.